Hey everybody, Jess Intuitive Angel Healer here with your grounded. Happy Monday. Well, it's afternoon, I guess, 2:45 where I'm at, Colorado. I guess for my overseas friends, you guys are probably getting into the late hours of the night. So I wanted to get on here. I'm a little late, but hey, I've been podcasting and guesting and all kinds of fun stuff, and I met the most amazing woman today, Dr. Gail Hamilton, and she agreed to be part of my show and share her magnificent story. She was actually a part of the whole movement and segregation and everything, and she actually worked in the healthcare system at that time. So this was just like my dream to, I love guests that I can sit and hear stories and knowledge and just share journeys that they've taken, because we've all taken some kind of journey in our life, but somehow society or, people in our lives try to tell us, they've heard it, they've seen it. Maybe it scared them so much that they don't want to acknowledge it. But we all have a story to tell, and our choices that we make in life decide if we're going to be toxic. And that's what I loved about her story, is she had a choice. And I tell people, you have choices. You can either participate in the toxicity, or you can learn to get yourself out of the toxicity. I am only 39, but I have lived in the toxic shadows my whole life, and I'm finally coming out of them now and realizing that I don't have to hide there anymore, and that people really do want to hear me. And there's some things that we can all share, because it's all about a moment. It's not always monetary to help someone. It's that word of encouragement. It's that person that goes and says, hey, I'm your friend. I believe in you. That goes so much further than monetary. And that's what I've created these great platforms for. I am going to be getting some bonus ones for any of you that are currently listening to my Toxic Shadows podcast, or my your angels are listening. Your angels are talking. Are you listening? Is my other podcast, and they're both on Anchor. And for those of you that are already listening, I have my guest interviews that are an hour, but I am going to be putting out bonus ones weekly with either just a little, inspirational segment, or to teach you how to maybe connect with your angels more, or, steps to help you get out of that toxic relationship. I just felt like I should drop some tidbits of my own knowledge on my own podcast. So look out for that and stay tuned. I've got many more things coming for you. If you didn't get a chance to check out my first online meet and greet that I created last night, I have the post pinned to the top of the page, and it has Unica. She is the published author of The Glow Up, and she wrote this transformational book when she was in the middle of the trenches of the toxic shadows, and created this as a blueprint for other young women out there, or even older women, any woman who wants to change their environment and doesn't want to just be stuck and in something that they know that they are way better than. So I loved her interview. I love having her on all the time. And she's on my Angels Miracles podcast as well, so you can catch that interview. I wanted to share a little story. Well, it's a little insert from the book. It's called The Road Less Traveled, A New Psychology of Love, Traditional Values, and Spiritual Growth. And that's by Scott Peck, MD. And I love sharing, different things, because it's all about words a lot of times. So Omen Lee says, I want to share my experience on how I got cured by by herbal medicine. It may sound strange for the past some years. That's really cool. And they found an herbal Africa herbalist who uses herbs. That's really cool. I will definitely send you out a message because I love to hear stories, especially when you heal something by natural cause means, because that's the biggest thing that we need is you can heal almost every disease and everything you have if you learn how to let out all the toxins that you're building up. Because every time that somebody tells you stop crying, or you hold yourself back from crying, I'm just going to let you know that that's the start of suppressing, pushing it down. And sometimes it's not always the best time to cry, because I've had many instances where it's not the time. But you know what? Go find the time later and let it out, because we would be much more healthier by letting our chakras flow. But I wanted to read an insert from this book, The Road Less Traveled. And this just really stuck with me. And this is all about fearing the pain, because most of us run away from the pain and our problems. And we think if we avoid all of them, they'll go away. And we all know that doesn't happen. So this says, and since indeed let's see, what makes life difficult is that the process of confronting and solving problems is a painful one. Problems, depending on their nature, evoke in us frustration or grief or sadness, loneliness, guilt, or regret, anger, fear, or anxiety, anguish, or despair. These are uncomfortable feelings, often very uncomfortable, often as painful as any kind of physical pain, sometimes equaling the very worst kind of physical pain. Indeed, it is because of the pain that events or conflicts engender in all of us that we call them problems. And since life poses an endless series of problems, life is always difficult and is full of pain as well as joy. Yet it is in this whole process of meeting and solving problems that life has its meaning. Problems are the cutting edge that distinguishes between success and failure. Problems call forth our courage and our wisdom. Indeed, they create our courage and our wisdom. It is only because of problems that we grow mentally and spiritually. When we desire to encourage the growth of the human spirit, we challenge and encourage the human capacity to solve problems. Just as in school, we deliberately set problems for our children to solve. So that's why we make math problems, because we want to teach our kids how to do math. So how do they learn math? Well, we give them math problems, right? And then we teach them how to figure those out. And that is what we forget as parents. Monkey see, monkey do. Why do we tell our kids to do stuff and we don't do it? And it's almost like that's where I had to take that accountability. If I'm going to be a motivational woman speaker and I'm going to encourage people to have spiritual growth, I better be working on my own. So it says, when we desire to encourage the growth of the human spirit, we challenge and encourage the human capacity to solve problems. Just as in school, we deliberately set problems for our children to solve. It is through the pain of confronting and resolving problems that we learn. And this is really cool. As Benjamin Franklin said, those things that hurt instruct. It is for this reason that wise people not that is for this reason that wise people learn not to dread, but actually to welcome problems, and actually to welcome the pain of the problems. Most of us are not so wise, fearing the pain involved almost all of us, to a greater or lesser degree, attempt to avoid problems. We procrastinate, hoping that they will go away. We ignore them, forget them, pretend they do not exist. We even take drugs to assist us in ignoring them so that by deadening ourselves to the pain, we can forget the problems that cause the pain. We attempt to skirt around the problems rather than meet them head on. We attempt to get out of them rather than suffer through them. This tendency to avoid problems and the emotional suffering inherent in them is the primary basis of all human mental illness. Since most of us have this tendency to a greater or lesser degree, most of us are all mentally ill or to a greater or lesser degree lacking complete mental health. Some of us will go to quite extraordinary lengths to avoid our problems and the suffering they cause, proceeding far afield from all that is clearly good and sensible in order to try to find an easy way out, building the most elaborate fantasies in which to live, sometimes to the total exclusion of reality. In the succinctly elegant words of Carl Jung, neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. So I don't know if you've ever read this book. If you have, please leave it in the comments. But I invite you, if you're going through a spiritual awakening, if you feel the need to break out and wondering, because that's what I hit my moment. I hit my moment of, I think my whole life I have tried to avoid things because I've always been told to stay out of sight, out of mind. I've always been made to feel like a problem. And I know I'm not the only one. And then to, add insult to injury, I have people say that magic word, "You're crazy. It's not me. It's you. You're making all this up." So I know there's others out there that have had similar things, and I'm here to instruct you. It's all a bunch of BS. You are not the problem. And if you are the problem, really sit back and think, why am I the problem? What am I personally doing that is the problem? Therefore, you can correct your behavior. But if you are just being told the problem, but you're not being told the reason why you're the problem, and if you are being told the reason why you're the problem, is it something you can fix, and is it something that needs to be fixed? Because if you're in a toxic relationship, guess what? I'm going to let you know, for all of you that are sitting in denial or think that it's going to get better, you'll never be good enough for that narcissist. You'll never be good enough for your abuser. I promise. I have tried many, many years to try to always fix someone, and I found out that they were broken. And you know what? A relationship, whether romantic, friendship, work, doesn't matter. It takes two people to be in a relationship. Unless you're in a relationship with yourself, and then usually you don't have as many issues. Unless you're bringing in the toxicity that other people brought in. And that's what I get to live it with, is that I know I'm a great person, but unfortunately everybody else's toxicity has oozed in there over the years, and it makes you wonder, like, am I really the problem, or does this person maybe just hate their life? Maybe this person's just afraid. Fear brings out things that we can't control. So I would like for y'all to take a moment today, confront the pain and the fear that you're dealing with. Stop running from it, and take time to figure out, what is this, and dissect it, analyze it, figure out, why is it controlling my life? If you have anxiety, which about 80% of Americans have, know that, why do you have such anxiety? What has caused you? Because I have anxiety up the wazoo, PTSD, and whatever else you want to call, but I've learned as a spiritual grounding coach, that's what I help my clients do. I teach you how to take all the things that you already have inside you and fix and heal those things, and to cut out those negative words that are coming in that other people have programmed into you, because your soul A lot of people are afraid to sit with themselves, but if you sit with yourself, you'll learn that you and your soul are always going to be best friends. Maybe you'll be like sisters sometimes and fight, but you're always going to love one another. So don't ever think that you need somebody toxic in your life to be there so you're not alone, because you may not be alone, but you sure will be lonely. Promise. I have sat with toxic people and there's nothing good that'll come out of it. And it takes a long time to get yourself out of that space. But every day, if you're in that space of not feeling good, of just the toxicity is suffocating you, I want you to take time and start looking for the way out, because there's always a little light. It may be really dim, but start looking for that light and start moving forward that way. And your angels will always come and help you. And if they've locked a door on you, I always say the universe's rejection is your protection. So stop trying to open up that locked door, because if you're anything like me, you get that locked door open, and guess what? You don't want the prize that's behind that door. You should have just kept it closed. And now your angels got that mess and another mess to go help you out with. So if it gets taken away from you, know in this life that nothing that is meant for you can ever be taken away. So if it was taken away from you, or you got a closed door, say thank you and take that as a blessing and move on, because sometimes, I always say, curiosity killed the cat. Sometimes we don't need to know everything. And I just have learned, when things aren't going my way, I've learned to stop forcing it and making it happen. It's not supposed to happen. And if I make it happen, I'm going to deal with the karma that I just created from that. So give yourselves a timeout and start thinking, hey, do I really need to open this closed door? I mean, there's 5 other open doors that would take me less energy just to walk down the hall and look in them to try to figure out the lock to this door. So I want to leave you guys with a message from your angels. And if you resonate with this video, please message me. I'm currently going to be running a 20% off of my angel services. And I do angel healing, so I have a couple of different ones. My mindset program is for those of you who are interested in changing your mindset, but you don't want to work with me on a daily and weekly basis. That is more of you can come sit down. It's an 1.5-hour session, and we're going to strictly go over the things that you need to heal. And so we pick a specific space in your life, whether it be your love life, your spiritual, your career, whatever it is. We'll pick out what needs to be healed, and we'll focus on just that area to help you get a mindset to move forward. Now, my spiritual coaching is for those of you who need support and a hand to hold to get through all of this, because healing is hard, and that's why people are in therapy for over 20 years and still don't have any closure on it. So what I do is I provide a 6-week and a 12-week program. And during those it's a daily program that I connect with you and send out a healing message of the day and some tips, whatever picture I come across, just something to let you know that, hey, I'm here and you have a friend on our journey. And I give, encouragement, whatever comes to it. But our sessions are you sit with, we do it over video for an hour, and I have worksheets that I email you. So each week is structured, and it starts out with the basis of self-love, and we kind of touch on everything, and it depends on how much that you have, most if you're don't have a lot of trauma or not much to heal. You just need maybe a self-confidence boost. That's what my 6-week program is. My 12-week program is more for those that have been in therapy for 20 years or are just stuck and can't get that healing growth that they need. So that really just dives in and really finds the root of your problems, and we pull it out like a weed and help you expand into your new mindset, because your present is what's going to make your future. So you need to be worrying, really focusing on what thoughts do I want to send out to the universe right now about my present or about my future. And you definitely don't want to start that off with thinking about your past and all the would have, could have, should have, because that's just going to manifest a lot more heartbreak for you. So I teach you how to manifest positivity and to keep a positive mindset no matter what. And it eventually turns into your present, and you find yourself you find yourself being in the divine flow, and blessings instead of lessons come, and it's amazing. So if you guys need more info about that, go ahead and send me a message at on Facebook. It's You're Grounded, you are, and then Grounded, or it's Angel Vibes. And I do have a website, so if you go to my profile, you can find my info there to find my website, which has all my podcasts and everything. Let me go ahead and send you guys off with the message of the day from your angels and a little inspiration. And we did just turn into Virgo season, so if you're feeling funky out there, I know astrologically we're kind of having a weird astrological time right now, and we just had a new moon as well. So let's see what the angels have to say for guidance for all of you beautiful listeners out there. Thank you so much for joining me and sharing this. Let's see, angels, what message do we have for our listeners today? I love the angels. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the first step towards letting go of hurt and emotional pain, and it only heals you. And I really feel that this is something that we really need to practice these days. We're jumping to conclusions, and it's really about taking the higher road. You don't always have to stoop down to someone's level. I'm learning this, and it's really hard. Some people, it's like almost unforgivable of the things that they have done in my life, but I've learned I'm forgiving you, not exactly for you. I'm forgiving you because I'm not going to carry your burden anymore off of something that was a misunderstanding or something that you really need to learn as your karmic life lesson. And the more energy that I put into that doesn't help. So my friend told me a long time ago when I was really angry about my divorce and everything, and she told me, because I said, I can't wait. And we always say that, I can't wait till blah, blah, blah. And you're always wanting to stick it to your ex as good as you can. And she told me something, and I'm not religious, but it really moved me. She said, don't take our God, revenge is for God. Don't take God's revenge. Something along those lines. I can't remember exactly, but it's the point that if somebody did something so unforgivable to you that you really need to reach to your higher power to find forgiveness, then know that that person also has their own thing to deal with, because I've personally seen people get their karma back. And my angels did me a favor. They're like, hey, they hurt you that bad. I'm going to let you watch this, but don't take too much enjoyment, but know that we are taking care of it. And that's when I stopped trying to get revenge. I stopped trying to do it all myself, because if you're not in the rights with the higher power, good luck to you. Have you ever seen somebody whose life you thought they were doing all the right things and then all of a sudden it just started pulling apart and falling apart? Yeah, that's someone who didn't do right things. And so I've learned to just let it go, because you know what? If I don't give forgiveness in this lifetime, I'm either going to have to come back and relive this over and over again like I have before, or I'm going to cause myself health conditions and issues and block up my chakras. And for what? Because what is that person really doing? They don't even think about you until it's out of sight, out of mind. So for those people that are like on the border of how do I forgive them. Send them love and light, because you know what? There's something, they got a bigger battle than you'll even know. And you can take something in that, hey, this person's going to have to deal with a whole lot more than me. So I might as well let them, let this little thing between us be the last thing. Says it's easy to say that you need to forgive that person who has hurt and wronged you. In truth, it is not easy to do that. It takes time, meditation, and prayers to let go of the bitterness and pain. When you forgive, you have to go deep within yourself and your soul to let it go. Release this, and forgiveness gives you healing and peace and empowers you to live the gift of life that has been bestowed upon you. So reap the benefits of forgiveness, set yourself free, and become healed. And that's really when I decided to start healing. Is nobody is that important for me to hold on to your masa, for me to feel in pain, because I've sat for over 20 years not wanting to forgive people, like truly forgive them, because it's not like, hey, you got to forgive me and I got to forgive you. No, nobody's got to do nothing. I forgive all the people that have brought pain, even the immeasurable amounts of pain that I've had, because thank you. You helped me. It's kind of like the Christina Aguilera song, You Helped Me Be a Fighter. And obviously I have quite the road to travel, so I needed to learn how to be a warrior and be strong enough in this lifetime. So thank you for coming across and teaching me such a powerful lesson that it caused me to spiritually level up. High five. I'm just saying, I look at the positive sides of things, because there's some things I'm like, man, I wish that would have never happened. But if it didn't, guess what? Like, if I would have never went in the marriage with my ex, I would probably still be in terrible relationships and having toxic people around me, because I never learned that lesson, and I finally learned it. So don't run away from the pain, guys. It's always going to be there. If you can confront it, it's just like the dark. If you're ever afraid of the dark, and Home Alone, when he goes down there and he tells the washing machine, shut up. And he was afraid of it the whole other time. That's exactly what fear is. And fear is a 4-letter word. What are you going to let have control over your life today? I hope you enjoyed this little segment today. I'm going to be having these on my blog site, so I invite you to come and also visit my blog site. And if you would like to be a part of my weekly email as well, please send me your email address, and I will start getting you out there so you won't miss my podcast. But thank you so much for letting me be here today and sharing the time. It's Monday. What are you going to do this week? What magic are you going to make? Are you going to let fear hold you back? Are you going to let the pain and regret of the past hold you down? Or are you going to stand up today and say, I am the creator of my own life, and I am in charge, not fear? Love and light, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. And if you can believe it, If you can dream it and believe it, you can achieve it. Love and light, everybody. Have a wonderful day and always ask your angels for help. All you got to do is say, "Angels, help me," and they'll be there for you. Have a great day.